filled out, but it's in a nice, format. So that if you forget, oh crap, I think I made an appointment the other day, I can't remember, you can always go back to your PHR. You don't have to pick up the phone and call the doc, right? You can look in your PHR and look under appointments and go, yeah, that's right, I made an appointment with Dr. Peter, and it's, 2 weeks from now. So that's your PHR. And then, again, once we've activated all of that, see, now we've created the highway between the practice and you, where now I can do a lot of stuff. I can send reminders about, hey, remember we prescribed and gave you, blood pressure medicine. Are you taking it? There's a lot of richness that I could go into that now that we have the pipe that has been laid between the doc, the practice, and the patient. Now we can message you. We can allow the patient to send you a secure message. Again, HIPAA controlled, all of the security around it that says, hey, I don't feel good. I'm taking this medicine. I've been on it for 5 days, but, something's not right. So all of that kind of opens up to doing an RX renewal request. And again, this is where ECO comes in. Because we're tied to ECO EMR, the way that works is once the patient says, I need a renewal on this prescription, they can go into their PHR, the medicine's already in there, they tap renewal, and now what happens is that request gets pushed to ECO EMR, and it shows up on the task list for the nurse. Inside of ECO EMR, the nurse can simply tap on it and approve it from her task list, and bam, because MDON's connected to all these thousands of pharmacies, right? They simply do automatically an e-prescription for that medicine, all without any phone calls, right? So the workflow is really nice. So those are all the types of things. I can keep going. I won't bore you with all that, but hopefully that answers your question a little bit.
It does, thank you. So when you populated the local pharmacies, you were pulling data from ECO's prescription, yes. Blah, blah, blah.
Prescription, yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thanks, Bill. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, no problem.
That's all. And it's easy to confuse it, to be honest, Gary, because a lot of what you saw in the demo, indeed, the information, the data, and the movement does appear in certain circumstances to emulate what you're seeing or what a doctor would see in an EMR. Well, that is the beauty and elegance and benefit of the EMR, ECO EMR, being integrated with the portal through Register Patient. Because think about it again, I always try to look at this from the perspective of the provider, because they're the ones that are ultimately going to be buying this stuff. And naturally, what I always challenge myself when I'm having these conversations with my channel partner clients like you, in the back of my head, I'm always saying, what's in it for the doctor? Why would they want to buy this? So in this case, where you saw Jasmine creating the information that the patient is creating, otherwise, what if that didn't occur, how would that information get put into either your system, meaning the TMS, or if a doctor had an EMR, how would it get into the EMR? The way that would occur would be either they would have to wait until the patient arrived, which is in 99 cases out of 100 where doctors don't have a portal. That's what's happening. They're either asking a patient, especially a new patient, to fill out a form, then back to what Justin said, it's the classic clipboard, because it's still happening, because I've done it when I've gone to a specialist I've never seen. What happens? I get a clipboard, and I got to spend 5 minutes filling out 2 or 3 pages of information. Well, the portal eliminates the need for that from occurring. So A, It takes out all that work that the doctor's office staff has to do, and it basically provides a means electronically that the patient, even a new patient for that practice, can do well in advance of walking in the door. And because it's electronic, it populates into the respective systems that need that information. If it's billing, it's your PMS. If it's clinical information, it's the ECO EMR. And that's the beauty of it, because it's taking advantage of the fact that we have already integrated all of those touch points. And now back to the doctor. Okay, what's in this for me? Why should I do this? There are very compelling reasons I just gave you as an example. Oh, you mean my staff won't have to fill out off of a piece of paper on a clipboard and enter all of that in manually into my EMR? No, it's all done. It'll all be done, and guess what? It'll all be done by the patient in many cases if they use the portal, as opposed to their secretary or their clerk that is already too busy and can't handle enough of what they're doing in an 8-hour day. That motivates them. They're saying, aha, now I get it. That is a heck of a lot more efficient. Time is money. If I can free up my staff and myself, where now I can maybe see another patient or two a day, that's more money in my pocket. They can focus on other things that make my practice more efficient. Now it's worth the investment. Now I can see why I would want to pay X amount of dollars above and beyond what I'm paying you for your PMS.
And my last experience with the patient portal, they didn't do it before, but they handed me an iPad and I sat in the waiting room and did it within about 5 minutes.
There you
So
go.
it
So
wasn't,
that's another
yeah.
great example of that's another way, at least, where they're empowering their patients. Same means to an end, Janice, exactly. I mean, let's face it. What's happening in this world is everyone's making us do more of our own work. I mean, I'm in sales. I'm traveling all the time. Classic example. I have to create my own boarding pass. I have to do everything myself. There's nothing that 20 years ago, I never did that. So this is another example where, the providers, office staff now, we have the technology, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's as long as it's efficient, most patients don't have a problem with that, and
Right.
It just empowers them, because they'll also get the benefit that Justin described, where I'm always anxious when a doctor orders lab work on me or chest X-ray or whatever. As soon as I have the test, I want to know what the results are. Well,
Right.
how many patients are constantly calling the doctor's offices looking for those results? I know. My primary care is a mentor of mine. I've known him for 25 years, and he is really a great sounding board for this stuff, and he's constantly a wealth of information, because that's my reality check. They get hundreds of calls, and if they can just eliminate those by providing tools to their patients, because it's pushing and pulling information both ways, the patients appreciate